Thank you. My name is Mary Hall, I'm County Auditor, and I was elected in 2013, so I want to say thank you for that. It's a job that I have really enjoyed these last 4.5 years. You know, most people don't really understand what the Auditor's Office does. They think of elections, of course, but I call it the junk department of county government because when the legislature didn't know what to do with a function, they just kind of threw it under the auditor's office. So to give you a broad overview, the auditor's office is in charge of county finances, not budget, but county finances, paying the bills, making sure we have strong internal controls. I also oversee the recording department, the licensing department, and all of the sub-agents that you see throughout the county. But what most people think about and what my passion is elections. I've got 22 years as an elections administrator, and that's really where my passion is. However, my education is in accounting, so you know, I really enjoy that as well. And I've really fulfilled what I promised 4 years ago, and I think you can group my accomplishments into 3 things. One is county finances and making sure we have strong internal controls and saving money. Developing partnerships, not only across the county, but also in the community. And also working on voter access legislation. And this year was a landmark year for that I'm very proud of. And I'll go into a little more detail in a moment. But when I walked into my job, my budget was cut by 10%. And the county has never been, because of initiatives that happened 20 years ago, has been in good financial shape. So, you know, the first thing I did was looked around and said, where can we save money and where can we increase revenue? So the first thing I did was looked at, are we incurring late fees? And are we taking advantage of vendor discounts? I come from the private sector. So the answer was yes and no. We were incurring late fees. We weren't taking advantage of vendor discounts. And to give you an idea of what a vendor discount can amount to, for one printing invoice for elections, it was a $1,000 discount. So in the last year, avoiding late fees and taking advantage of vendor discounts netted us $60,000 in the county. The other thing I looked at is our voters pamphlet. We were printing 2. We printed 1, the state printed 1. So by partnering with the state in 2014, we saved $25,000 on that voters pamphlet, plus a lot of paper. And in 2016, I believe it was $16,000. So I'm continually looking for ways that we can save money and also improve our financial controls. We were getting a lot of audit findings before I took office, and I'm proud to say that I've brought us from a high-risk to a low-risk audit category, which just this year is going to save us $13,000 in audit costs. But what I'm most proud of is the legislation that passed this year. When I ran, there wasn't a single county auditor that supported same-day voter registration. And I'm pleased to say I was able to bring about 8 of those with me in supporting the legislation. The association testified in support of it in front of the legislature, and it passed this year. So this year we got same-day voter registration, automatic voter registration, pre-registration for 16 and 17-year-olds, and the Voting Rights Act passed. And I'm very proud of the work I did on those. And I'm also very proud to have been recognized by the governor. I was the only elected official invited to speak at that bill signing ceremony, so that was quite a compliment. So I would love to have 4 more years. This is a job that I'm passionate about. Now we get to implement all of this legislation. And as Ty mentioned, we do have some financial issues in this county, so I need to continue to make sure that we're spending our money wisely, that various departments are managing their money wisely and have strong financial controls. So I really ask for your support. I do have an opponent. He's running as an independent, which is a little intimidating because we know that independents do get elected in Thurston County. We have 3 independent commissioners. We have an independent sheriff. So any help you can give me in these efforts, I'd greatly appreciate that, whether it be doorbelling, making phone calls, talking to your neighbors. I have envelopes. Of course, it costs money to run a campaign, so you know, financial contributions are always welcome. But I hope that you'll return me to office. And, the other thing you can do to get the word out about my campaign is take out your phone right now, take some pictures, and post them on Facebook.
All right.
So thank you very much. My name's Mary Hall. I'd appreciate your vote this November. All right. Well, as county auditor, I don't really have much say over the budget, but the one thing that I really think needs to happen in the county, which does happen at the commissioner level because they're kind of executive and legislative branch because of the way Thurston County is structured, is we really need to look at the departments we don't have in this county. Like, one of the things we don't have is centralized procurement. So picture, if you negotiate buying power, quantity discounts, you're going to save a lot of money. But currently what people do is they take a credit card, they go down to Office Depot or wherever, and they buy all their office supplies. So we could really save a lot of money just by doing simple things like centralizing our purchasing and also centralizing our contracts. I think we're at risk because we also don't have a centralized contract office in this state. Okay.
1 minute.
I also think we need to continue strengthening our internal controls. And one of the things that my financial services folks are getting very good at is triaging various departments when we have turnover and issues that come up where they lose key staff, for example, and they go in and make sure we don't fall behind and that we've got strong financial controls in place. We had some departments that had really bad habits that just kind of got passed down through staff, and we're working really hard to fine-tune our processes, make sure that we have really strong financial controls, and that we can not get the audit findings that we've had in the past. So strong financial management and watching where we spend money and saving where we can. We've had recent law changes, particularly around whether felons can vote or not. That law was changed in 2009, but I think it's one of the most misunderstood law changes we've seen, because I still hear all the time that I can't vote because I've had a felony conviction, and that's not true anymore. One of the things that I did was partnered with the Public Defender's Office when Darrell Rodriguez was a public defender, and we created a literature piece that talked about what rights they had, because basically if somebody is not incarcerated or on parole, if they're not in jail, their right to vote is automatically restored. So one of the things that I will continue to do is work with our prosecutor, our public defender, and any organization, if you'd like any of this literature, if you have groups that need this, I would be happy to provide it. Because what happens is, I was even doorbelling and people would say, no, I can't vote, I'm a felony. And I would say, yes, you can. Oh, no, I can't. No, I can't. I'm like, yes, you can. I'm the county auditor. You can. I was in Shelton for another campaign. So people are really afraid. They're fearful that they can actually vote, but they can. So I'm going to continue doing things like that. I'm also going to continue my projects of working out to the homeless shelters. They can vote without a traditional address, and that's another very misunderstood fact. They can use a shelter, they can use a street corner, and we will register them. So I'm going to continue those efforts, and also making sure that everybody exercises their right to vote, especially our youth. If a person isn't currently in jail for a felony conviction, yes, they can vote. In fact, we delivered ballots to the jail in the 2016 general election, and we also put a ballot box in the jail in the 2016 election. So, I think it's crazy that we take away people's rights because they made a mistake. So I'm going to make sure that people understand what their rights are. What was the other question?
And are there efforts to encourage that and get that word out to people that are already incarcerated?
Yes and yes. And, we did that in 2016. We're going to do it in 2018. We'll do it in 2020. We even did a voter registration drive. So, I'm excited that the laws were changed in 2009, but what has to happen is it's got to happen across the country. And, we've got to work with our senators, our congressmen, and we've got to get more sweeping change on the national level. We're doing a great job in Washington State, but we don't hear about it because of the way laws are on the national level. So I think we're a great model for the rest of the country, and I'm very proud to have worked on many of these changes and the legislation that we've been able to get passed. New accessible voting laws and pre-registration for 16 and 17-year-olds.